because you'd already raised concerns about your own area in Bracknell, where you were seeing constituents that were perhaps just, you know, not against helping people who'd helped us. I think there are about 300 in your area that have been assisted, migrated from Afghanistan to Bracknell. But you already had questions on this, and I would imagine overnight those questions have somewhat expanded, and you're certainly not the only person thinking it now.
Yeah, well, I feel slightly vindicated, that's for sure. But yeah, we had 300 Afghans arrive, and they've been put up into a 4-star hotel, and they get their food, obviously their bills paid for in university. They also get what's called wraparound care, which is a very vague term, and move on support. And I just want to make it clear that, I just want to echo previous statements, that the people who, I believe they should be given sanctuary here in the UK, and they should be looked after, and obviously they should be treated in respect. But the problem is that level of care and welfare isn't available to Bracknell residents, and that's who I represent. I've had single mothers contact me in the housing waiting list, inappropriate housing. She's got 4 kids. She's 7 weeks pregnant, 7 months pregnant. She has to walk up, flights of stairs in a 1-bed flat, mold on the walls so bad that it's hospitalised their kids. And she's still in this house, and she's not able to get off the housing list. And she said to me, "I feel like I failed, John." But we've seen here that this scheme is just being signed off for £7 billion like that. Yeah. And when we're told there's no more money. And I said to her, "You haven't failed. You have been failed. You've been failed by a system which has forgotten you and is now falling over itself to help other people." And I've heard from veterans as well in similar situations, homeless, sofa surfing, living with their mums. Another veteran also had his kids hospitalised with respiratory conditions from the mould in his flat. He still hasn't been helped. So I find this totally scandalous. And while we might want to help these people who have served our armed forces, which is very noble, it got to be paid for and planned properly. It can't be paid for out of people's housing and education.
Because what it looks as if we're going to see, in fact, now this story is out, the numbers are far greater. It was all just kept very, very quiet. So 300 in Bracknell, if you look at that across the country in various ways, this story is replicated in towns up and down the land, and is going to continue to be replicated. And you're absolutely right. You can hold both views on this. We can be caring and understanding and thankful and want to help those who've fought for us. But simultaneously, you have to draw a bit of a line and say, hang on, veterans, elderly, the vulnerable, taxpayers who've paid into the system are living in squalor and poverty. Yeah. And yet you come from another country and even understanding the amazing work some of these people did, that's just not fair.
No, it's not fair. And that's the main issue. But the other issue is that it wasn't told to us. It's had no scrutiny in this policy. I'm absolutely flabbergasted that £7 billion has just been signed off without any scrutiny. That we are supposed to live in a democratic country. Yeah. That is not democratic. But this cult silence goes down to the local level as well, because this was framed to us as just people who served our armed forces. That isn't true. There's obviously the family members. There's also, it encompasses another pathway, which is the ACRS, which also includes people who are deemed vulnerable by the UN. So that can be LGBT people, women, and these people come as well. And it was never framed to us. We were told that it wouldn't impact the housing list, but because of the questions I asked, it then came out that actually, if you go through the MOD paperwork, it shows that they encourage the Afghans to apply for homelessness if they can't secure private accommodation in the 9 months they stay in the hotel. 9 months they stay in the hotel. And we're just being drip-fed information. And then, of course, I've come under attack as hateful, racist or whatever. And actually...
Have you had that in the council meetings, John? Have you had stick, or have you had any support in what you're trying to put forward?
I've had no support. I've been the only councillor who's scrutinised this policy. Yep. I've had a Labour councillor call the police on me, saying that I shouldn't be scrutinising this policy. Wow. I even put forward, the Lib Dems put forward a motion, check this out here, the Lib Dems put forward a motion, it was a virtue signalling motion that just said, we welcome the Afghans to our area who served our armed forces. I said, I totally support this. that's absolutely fine. But I want to put an amendment into this motion that says we also call for equal treatment for our residents and veterans.
100%.
And every single Lib Dem and Labour and only 3 Conservatives backed it. Everyone else voted against it.
Wow. In terms of your own politics, you were a Conservative, you're now independent. Is there a political party out there that can sort all of this? Are you tempted to go elsewhere? Can you see an answer in the wings anywhere?
I think the country is, I think we're on one of our last chances to save our country with the next general election. And yeah, quite honestly, I think that lies with Reform UK.
Well, we're going to watch with interest. Let's speak again, John, and keep in touch. John Edwards, Councillor John Edwards, independent now councillor for Bracknell. You can see the scenes of the squealing masses at the council meetings. You're a racist. No, 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 I'm not saying that. Stop telling me things I didn't say. Concentrate on what I did say, but that's not how kind of left-wing warped thinking works, which is why it's so horrific, anti-intellectual and bilious. That's his view, that's his thoughts. Yours, we're looking for now. Do we have a moral duty to help our Afghan allies? 0344 499 1000.